Hello, you multi-menthos munchers. Welcome to the Bothy. I'm Ralphie. This is Ralphie Review 1011, and a big malt mention thank you to Drums A Go Go 8655. There you go. I'm reviewing a whisky, a Scotch whisky. It's a blended Scotch whisky. I have reviewed this before, actually. Let's pour a glass. Always an essential part of a Ralphie review is pouring a glass. And it's a blended Scotch, 6 years old. I have reviewed it before. I'll come to that shortly. And the reason I'm reviewing this is that it is a category winner in the 2023 online Scotch Whisky Awards, which you will find, because I know you're interested to know about these awards, because they are the only fully democratic online whisky community voting consensus democratic awards. That's what they are. An absolute first for the whisky industry. And I'm very proud to be the co-host along with Roy from Aquavit. We both like this stuff, by the way. We both rate it quite highly. I am going to tell you why. This is Thompson Brothers. And it says TBBSW on the label, which means Thompson Brothers Blended Scotch Whisky, aged over 6 years, rightio, which is an unusual statement. What are they saying here? Are they having a wee break with tradition? Because normally when you see an age statement, it will say a specific year. So it'll be, say, 6 years, 8 years, 10 years, 12 years. But here they are saying over 6 years, but they don't tell you how many years over 6 years. Rightio. If you want that information, check out the QR code on the back of the label. Now, I'm not going to hold this too close to the camera, rightio. I hope you can get a screenshot with your own mobile. But I'm not going to hold it too close to the camera, because last time I did this, the camera went all blurry and stayed blurry for about 2 or 3 minutes. Now, that was all very well for my Patreon subscribers to enjoy the entertainment of that. But naturally, even with the bloopers, I do have to maintain certain standards, and therefore I have completely re-recorded this video. So unless you're a Patreon subscriber, you will not see the original video, which is actually, because I never use a script, is surprisingly different but familiar and similar to this one. There we go. It's good value. And in the category of blended Scotch whisky, where we expect to see some good value whiskies as voted for by the online community, it came in as the winner against some very tangible competition, including my whisky for the year 2024 called Maclean's Nose, another non-age statement blended Scotch whisky, but integrity delivered. This is integrity delivered. It's 46%. On the back label it tells you natural colour, unchill filtered, and it provides some more information. Very interesting, but I'll mention that in my extras coming up shortly, called 1011 Extras. That's what it is, extras. On the nose. Sherried, absolutely, unequivocally, unashamedly sherried. Is there much presence of the grain whisky? Not really, it's pretty well integrated. They've spent a lot of time with the small whisky business, marrying the casks together, letting them rest, letting them merge, letting them consolidate into a formal blend, and then importantly they have gradually brought the strength down so as to preserve the integrity of the singularity of the contributory casks. So what have we got in the nose? Distinctive sherry, quite a lot of honey, and plenty of raisins. It's a little bit closed. It's a little bit what you call flinty. You get this particularly with young sherried whiskies, which don't have a lot of age behind them but have prominent cask influence. You can get almost some sort of metallic notes in the end of a fairly short, abrupt finish. But that is easily remedied by the careful addition of clean fresh water. This water I have got from the tap and I've filtered it so as to get rid of the chlorine. All good. And it's soft water. Always use soft water in your whisky, not hard water. Sweet and sour, with the emphasis on the sour. Good dash of bitterness in there as well, coming from the bitterness in the wood of primarily the sherry casks, particularly when they've been left a bit and there's that little bit of sourness creeping in. And I'm certainly spotting that here, but I must add, it's not doing any harm at all. Now, this is 5 millilitres of water I'm adding to this whisky with my magic teaspoon, which is a perfect, you see it's a ladle, so it's the perfect volume of liquid we're adding, of water that we're adding, so we know just how much we're bringing down the volume of what is I would say a fairly standard measure of whisky. Already a little bit of Scotch mist appearing in the glass. There will be more later, and there also would be more if the bothy was a bit warmer, but it's a bit cooler. But it's actually not too bad today. It's reasonably warm because of a passing storm. And there you have it. So I leave this a couple of minutes and I just talk a little bit about the last time I reviewed it. I reviewed this whisky in review 974. In April 2023, so 10 months ago, and it was another bottle, and this is clearly a different batch. I can tell by the taste, and I should expect that. We should all expect it. When we're dealing particularly with small integrity whiskies, we're not looking for consistency of flavour. We're looking for the consistency of quality. Now, if you want consistency of flavour, as in shorthand flavour, generic flavour, you go for whiskies that are chill filtered and have loads of caramel colour added to make them look like they've got a fake tan. Then you'll get what you're looking for, this consistent mass consumer experience, which you don't really want to dig too much into most of the time. This is a very welcome sign of the times, actually, where smaller distilleries and smaller whisky operations are delving into the historical archive and bringing back some of these old school styles of blended whisky at a higher strength, more naturally presented, without the excessive filtering of mouthfeel and ultimately of flavour, because you do lose flavour in chill filtering. You know, if you want to know about that, go to a bottling plant, stand by the chill filtering machine and smell how lovely it is. You're smelling the flavour that's been stripped out of the whisky. It's, you know, and colour. Natural colour gets stripped out of the whisky too. Because when they remove the cardboard plates that they use in these concertina chill filtration devices, you know, they get stained brown from the natural colour being extracted from the liquor. Now, I know that no passive occasional purchase consumer is even watching this video, because it's not about fails and sports and, you know, such like. This is about whisky. The majority of people who are occasional consumers don't go any deeper into what whisky can be and should be. But the fact that you're watching this video means you're taking an extra interest. And that's why you are getting extra details of information to help inform and advise in your journey and to help you accelerate your experience. Cheers. Now, I've added some water. I've taken the opportunity to give it a little bit of time. Let's go back to the nose. Rounder, softer, sweeter, dustier, more oak, more soft oak. I get the impression that young whisky has been put into older casks, significantly older casks, particularly the sherry cask component. This is what it comes across as. I also think that there's at least 1 or 2, maybe 3 casks in there in this small batch, which is older whisky, which is in there just to lift the whole experience. That's what my nose and taste buds are telling me, particularly in the nose actually, not so much the taste. Taste-wise, much more languid, softer, sweeter, fruitier arrival. Very soft peach and toffee note on the arrival. The development gets more gingery. Sherry's prominent throughout. Some lime oil. More complex, more interesting, more expressive, more delivered. I added some water. If you don't add water to your whisky, I wish you luck. I do, but your saliva is not going to water it down for you. Don't kid yourself. Particularly with higher strength whiskies, all you're doing is burning your tongue and burning your throat. So for those of you who are more open-minded and less Luddite, do add some water to your whisky, particularly when it's been bottled at 46%, because when you bring it down to say 42% in the glass, or 40%, it's chasing out the flavours, chasing out the chemicals that provide the flavours, and therefore you get more of a delivery of it. There's more complexity. You're getting more return for your value for money investment that you've made in this particular brand, which is one, best category, blended Scotch whisky, in the OSWAs, the oswa.co.uk. You'll find a link down below, malt mates. And there you have it. Result, delicious whisky. What will I give this? What will I give this? My last mark was 85. And do you know what? The more time I spend on, I've got to be realistic. I'm going to give this, because it's a younger, slightly younger, crispier version of the last batch. It's slightly different. It's very similar, but it's a little bit sort of more burnt treacle notes in amongst the sherry. So I'm going to give this 84 out of 100. It's a blended Scotch whisky mark, and it's an integrity mark. This is so important. So important. The more experience you get with whisky, the more you will see how much of a gulf there is between the experience of a sanitised whisky that's been 40% chill filtered, loaded with caramel, and something of more authenticity. It's just what this is, more authentic. And there you have it. I'm Ralphie Nabothy, delivering you another banger of a whisky review, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Bye.